Hello everyone, welcome to the Armageddon Championship Series 2023. The chess show that hits you harder in the face than a double-decker bus. We are happy to broadcast live from our studio in Berlin. I'm Grandmaster Simon Williams, and I'm with my good friend, International Master Jovanka Houska.
It's awesome to be here, Simon. And yesterday we were treated to such a brilliant day of action. It was full of nerves, it was full of drama, as Alina Kashlinskaya and Gunay Mammadzada both won their respective matches. So let's take a look at what happened. The first day of the Women's Armageddon Week started with Grandmaster Elisabeth Paehtz facing off against International Master Gunay Mammadzada. Elisabeth came to the first game well prepared and soon secured a winning position, but some resourceful defense from Gunay meant that the game fizzled out. In Game 2, Gunay unleashed a devastating attack to win the game and the match.
The second match of the day saw Alina facing off against Sara. Alina won a very nice game in the first match. In the second match, it seemed like she was going to wrap things up, but Sara was so resourceful, coming back to take the match into Armageddon. The Armageddon game saw Alina play her king's pawn, and Sara couldn't defend properly. Alina going through to the next round. It was a really exciting day of chess yesterday, but today is possibly going to be even more exciting. We have some amazing pairings to look forward to.
Definitely, and excitement is the name of the game, because this is the Armageddon Championship Series 2023. It's the ultimate chess showdown of the year. Now, there are 3 regional events. The Americas have been and gone. It was the very first event happening in March. There it was Wesley So and Sam Shanklin that qualified for the grand finale. And then it was followed in April by the Asia and Oceania series. And there it was the 2 youngsters, Gukash and Nordibek Abdusatorov, who made the cut and went into, well, qualify into the grand finale.
We still have the Europe and Africa regional series to come, but we're now qualifying on this. We're looking at this very special qualifying event, the Women's Armageddon Week. The finest minds in the game are going to be competing for a spot in the grand final and a chance to win the Armageddon Championship. All the events are broadcast live from the World Chess Club in Berlin on Unter den Linden, and this is make or break. Who will get the cut and go through, and who will be sent packing. So don't go anywhere, it's Armageddon.
It is Armageddon, and there we saw some amazing participants. And of course, we have to mention one of our partners, IT.com, the official partner of the Armageddon Championship Series. It's a domain registry like no other, provides a platform for anyone to create innovative domains and effectively showcase their online presence. So don't miss this opportunity. Visit IT.com today and create your unique online image.
Sounds exciting, but let's now have a look at the bracket and the pairings and results so far. So you can see there we have 2 players who have gone through, and that is Gunay and Alina. And let's remember, this is a double elimination event, so even if you lose one match, you get another shot at the title. And today's games, well, I mean, they are fascinating, and we'll come to them very shortly.
I know, because these are battle between heavyweights. First up, we have Alexandra Kosteniuk. She's been a former women's world champion, playing against India's #1 female player, Humpy Koneru. And then we have women's world blitz champion, Bibisara Assaubayeva, facing off against Dzagnidze. It's gonna be so much fun. But let's take a look at the first pair. Now, Alexandra Kosteniuk plays against Humpy Koneru, and this really is a titanic battle, because guess what? They've been playing each other for over 20 years. And the score is even Stevens, 2020 with 19 draws. It's about as close as you get, Simon.
It is indeed, and we can have a little deep dive at the players now, and we start with Alexandra Kosteniuk, who is a legend of the game. She was a grandmaster at the young age of 20. She's been Women's World Champion in 2008. She was Women World Cup winner in 2021 and also Women's World Rapid Champion in 2022. She's just a legend. I mean, that's all you can say about this great player.
And let's hear more from Alexandra Kosteniuk in her own words.
I've been playing chess since the age of 5, so more than 30 years now. My father taught me to play chess. I must say that he's been a very good teacher and mentor in that way. It's been quite a long career, so the most memorable win for me is the recent one. But I've been very fortunate to have very, very big victories in the last 2 years. This year, 2023, I won a very strong Grand Prix tournament in Munich. And then 2021 was a dream come true year for me when I won the Women's World Cup. And I became the Women's World Rapid Champion. 2021, I think, is my best year so far.
Very impressive achievements, and she will be playing, though, a very impressive opponent because she faces off against Humpy Koneru. She's a grandmaster from India. She became a grandmaster at just 15 years old. She's been Women's World Rapid Champion in 2019. She's won the Indians Women's Championship in 2003, and she won the BBC Indian Sportswoman of the Year award. Very, very impressive. So let's hear more from Humpy Koneru herself.
I have been playing chess from the past 30 years. I started when I was 6 years old. Initially, I got attracted to the game when I saw my father playing chess from an informator. I sat before him and I started asking about the pieces, how they move and all. Initially, I won on the local tournament, and from then onwards, I kept on playing state and national level events. I took a break in my career after my daughter was born. I haven't seen chess for nearly 1 year, 10 months. And after coming back from 2019 onwards, I started winning very good tournaments like the Grand Prix and also. So I think these results are quite a bit unexpected for me because I always believed I'm very good at classical. And I have been maintaining my rating and ranking for many years. So getting a good results and in these shorter formats gave me more happiness.
Yeah, I mean, two really good players. Going to be one matchup you can't miss. They both seem to be on great form, and we've got the countdown now to the game. Let's have a very quick look at the rules. It is 3 minutes plus 2 seconds a move. They play 2 games. If there's a winner, that person goes through. If it's 1-1, we go to Armageddon. And Armageddon, well, that means the player of the white pieces has 5 minutes, and the player of the black pieces has 4 minutes. But white has to win to progress. And, well, 26 seconds to go.
I know. And there we have another important person in the room, Anastasia Sorokina. So she will be the arbiter. She'll be watching these two players like a hawk. When those pieces start flying, she will be the one that steps in. And there we go. We are less than 10 seconds away from the start of play. What a match. This is going to be epic. And that's it. Handshake. They are off.
That was a cold handshake there, I feel, but I know they're very good friends. And we see Alexandra with the white pieces playing in very traditional way. Okay, with the 4 knights. We saw this yesterday from Alina. Bishop comes out. That's a bit of a rare move. The white knight diving straight into the center. Not the most common start to the game, but I don't actually know this position so well, Jovanka.
This is pretty mainstream, but I have noticed in recent years that Alexandra does have a tendency to develop her knight to c3, regardless of which system she faces in the e4, e5. And Humpy, she's a very solid player, but she likes simple chess. If there's one weakness in Humpy's game, it's that she doesn't like it when her king is under attack.
Yeah, that's worth bearing in mind. Let's just take a look at some of the important things you should keep an eye on. So there's the heart rate monitor, and Alexandra is 113. Humpy is already pretty high at 130. There's also the evaluation bar. Keep an eye on that on the side of the board. And with that last move, it seems to have, well, it's shot down a little bit in Humpy's favor, but I'm sure this is all theory. It seems like pretty natural moves from both sides, but the style aspect is quite interesting. As Jovanka mentioned, you want to play really to your strengths as you do in anything you really excel in life. And Humpy, she does play brilliant positional chess, very good in the ending. Alexandra can be quite an aggressive player at times, though.
Absolutely. I mean, one of Alexandra's biggest assets is that she simply plays very powerful chess, and she is an athlete. She runs marathons. She's very, very fit.
Like me, Jovanka. Don't laugh.
No, I'm not laughing because I don't. I also run marathons. Wink, wink. No, I don't. And anyhow, a pawn. Alexandra has given up a pawn.
This is very interesting because we saw the evaluation bar go in Black's favor, and the only reason could have been, was this just a free pawn in the middle of the board? That Black knight has come and jumped into the middle, grabbing a pawn, but I feel Alexandra might get some good compensation. She can take that pawn, that Black pawn as well, with her knight. I don't see any reason why that's not a decent move, and she has done so. She's not a pawn down anymore, and I expect Humpy will play something with her pawn in the middle of the board, or just castle here. Castling is always a great move. You've got to respect the king. The king is boss, and you've got to get the king safe. So castling, the only move where you can move two pieces at the same time. And she hasn't castled, but she will do soon.
She will absolutely do that soon. The big question for Humpy, though, is how is she going to handle playing this position without the presence of a dark squared bishop? And, well, we do see castling on the board. I'm expecting Alexandra to also do the same. There you go. Respecting the rules. This is principled chess. You don't want to be playing with your king in the middle of the board. And the big question here is Alexandra is threatening to one stage play the bishop out to g4 and pin the knight. And I like how Alexandra's handled this position. She has the bishop pair, and now she's going to get about just kicking back Humpy's knights.
Totally agree. It seems like the opening has gone in White's favor. We say this because of the two bishops. The two bishops are very, very powerful. They can work extremely well together. The pawn structure is symmetrical, so there's not a big difference in who's got an advantage with the better pawns, but it's the pieces we need to concentrate on. Humpy there developing. On the other hand, we must say that Humpy's position is solid. There's nothing too wrong with it, but where's she going to move that knight to now? Because, okay, it has to go to the side of the board. And what do we say about knights on the rim, Jovanka?
They are dim, or the knights on the edge, they fall off the hedge, and that's not good news for Humpy. She needs to find a purpose for that knight. And also slightly worried about White's control in the center, and there we see Alexandra just move her rook onto the open line. She's going to follow that up with very natural moves, develop the dark square bishop, come out with the queen, and again, it's not very easy for Black to formulate a plan. And Humpy playing in a very solid manner. She's simply reinforcing the protection of the d5 pawn.
And I expect now Humpy's idea is to bring that knight on the edge towards the center. We can see that Alexandra has her knight, the white knight, in the middle of the board. And there you go. Humpy brings that knight on the edge, on falling off the hedge, whatever it was doing over there, into the middle of the board. Ooh. And this is very interesting. Is Alexandra now thinking about a sacrifice? Is she lining up, Jovanka?
She set up a battery with the bishop and the queen, and definitely Humpy will now have to start calculating in every single move whether this bishop will sacrifice itself for the pawn on h6. And that's why you see Humpy, she doesn't have that much time left. She only has 36 seconds. She's just trying to eliminate any calculation and simply just protecting her king. Well, are we going to see a repetition of moves?
Yeah, okay, no, Alexandra decides to play for the win. Remember, if you repeat the same position 3 times, it's a draw. So Alexandra brings her bishop back, and Humpy just going backwards and forwards, basically asking Alexandra, what are you doing? Well, we're now going to see what Alexandra is doing. Open files, require rooks, and Alexandra is going to try to double up on there. There you go, the queen and rook on the open file. It looks a little bit better for white, but we have some exchanges. The time is getting critical for Humpy, and the one thing I'd say in Humpy's favor is she's got the kind of position she likes, a solid position, but she's got to watch the clock. 15 seconds. Okay, well, it's getting very low on time for her at the moment.
It's getting very tense, and again, Humpy not really knowing what she can do, so she's simply shuffling the knight backwards and forwards. And it's up to Alexandra. What is she going to do? How is she going to move forward? And oh, she goes for it. She takes the space, attacks the bishop, and now it's going to be all about the E-line. Look how many pieces Alexandra has on that file.
Well, I think Alexandra missed a great chance there. She could have attacked the bishop with the pawn and won a pawn, but she's still got a very nice position. Those pawns flying forwards, maybe push that pawn forwards again, but black's bishop in the middle is blocking everything. This is such an important piece for Humpy. That black bishop gets in the way of the white rook, the white queen, and the other white rook. So I don't know how you get rid of that bishop. Maybe you should try to swap it off now by bringing your bishop back. No, she's sacrificed.
Oh.
This is a really brave move. Okay, well, she's got the material back straight away by capturing that rook. Can she now just take the pawn in the middle?
She can, and she could just sacrifice some material, but instead she decides to advance her pawns. But what's she doing about her bishop?
Her bishop is in trouble.
It doesn't have too many squares. I mean, this one caught Alexandra by surprise, and there's a pawn that's dropping.
Oh, wow.
No, it's gone wrong for Alexandra.
What a turnaround. Yeah, Humpy is now right in charge of the position. She's won a pawn, and look at the black pawn in the middle. There goes another pawn. They're dropping off like apples in an orchard, ready to be harvested for some nice cider. But that pawn, it looks so strong. I mean, this is really going just in Humpy's way. Humpy's heart rate up to 154. I think she knows she's doing well here.
But we have seen turnarounds happen in this time controls, especially with seconds left on the clock. And look at the way that Humpy's now bringing into the game her knight. And now she's going to just make a move. Only 10 seconds left. It's important now. You got to keep calm.
Yeah, we got to keep an eye on those clocks. So Humpy is 2 pawns up. In a classical game, this would mean quite an easy win. But in Armageddon, when they've only got 10 and 15 seconds left, a turnaround is entirely possible. They've got to move quickly, and Alexandra realizes this. She can't find a good move. She moves her king back. There's not a great plan that really white can do, and the knight comes in, but does that drop a pawn? No, the black queen can come in with a big check. There goes another pawn with check. The white king is totally naked here. It looks like it shouldn't be able to survive there. Another check. Keep checking the king. But what's Humpy going to do to win?
She's going to grab another one.
A third pawn, Jovanka.
And both players now around the 10-second mark, and Alexandra is just trying to hold on as much as possible. Okay, she's taken...
Checkmate. There was checkmate. Oh, no. The queen was covering that square. My apologies, but Humpy...
There's going to be checkmate, Simon. Don't you worry about that.
The only thing is the black king is a little bit open. I don't think it's in too much trouble. Black does a great move there, trying to get the queens off the board. If you take that queen, black will take your queen, and then you win the ending. We said how strong Humpy is in the end part of the game. I mean, what's the time now?
It's 2 seconds.
Oh, wow.
And she threw in a spot
1
check,
second, she's down on time.
She's lost on time.
Yeah.
And well done, Humpy. I mean, I have to say, Alexandra came into that match swinging with some great piece of preparation, and she had Humpy on the ropes. But Humpy just showed how resourceful she is. She just did not ever just simply resign. She just kept the game alive, and she turned it around. Epic stuff.
Definitely. I mean, it was really exciting. It looked like Alexandra was doing well. We'll have a look at those highlights here. And we thought white's better because that white knight in the middle, white's getting the queen behind the rook. And you can see here that you have this nice bishop now in the center of the board. So things were looking a little bit better for white there, but it really changed this game, didn't it, after a couple more moves?
Yeah. And here we see Alexandra in full control. She has the bishop pair, but she really is going for it. She triples on the E-line, and she
But this is
has
a big
an
chance.
opportunity. Definitely.
She could have moved the F pawn there and won, I think, a nice pawn. And it was around there where she missed that move, Jovanka, I think, where things turned in Humpy's favour, didn't they?
Yeah. And later on, we see a nice moment where Alexandra does just trade off some material, and this is the key moment. This is the exact moment where she does blunder. She forgets about her bishop being stranded in the middle of the board.
Yeah, stranded pieces drop off, and we come to a later stage here, that knight coming in, and this was a very clever idea from Humpy because she now gets in towards the white king. She takes those pawns around the white king. They're like protecting. The bodyguards are dropping off, and what's left when the bodyguards drop off? Just the king. And there goes another bodyguard off the board there, and you can't really survive that position. There's just not enough protection for your most important piece, which is your king.
Yeah, impressive play by Humpy, because we have to say that, like, the later stages of that game, Humpy played that with just 10 seconds on the clock and just 2-second increment.
Yeah.
So to keep her wits when her position is difficult and then to turn it around, well, she will be feeling very, very inspired by that. But we are less than 1 minute away from the second game, and Alexandra, playing with the black pieces, now has to win to take the match to Armageddon.
That's right, and this is where it gets really exciting, because you can just throw everything at your opponent. A draw is no good, a loss is no good. You have to get the victory. It's going to be tough because Humpy has the white pieces. 21 seconds to go. Oh, I've always wanted to say that. A famous song there, but okay. And somehow Alexandra has to break through Humpy's opening, and Humpy is known to be so solid crew with the white pieces. And we're going to be starting now in 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and I expect the queen's pawn will come out first.
Yes, Humpy is known for pushing that queen's pawn, and true to form, she does play that move. And Humpy plays in a very principled way, very classical, and well, Alexandra, she chooses to deploy the queen's Indian defense, getting that light square bishop to a long diagonal.
Yeah, this is a solid opening, but the good thing is all the pieces remain on the board. White is considered maybe to be a little bit better in these positions, but black keeps things on for later on in the game, and that's where the action will probably happen here in the middle to later part of the game. Another very solid approach there. There are other options in that position. This gets some space in the middle of the board, but if you look at the black's light square bishop, the bishop on the light squares, it's now blocked by that pawn, and you don't really want to block your pawns in, so it's going to be really hard to get something out of this game.
Definitely.
Is this the right approach that Alexandra's doing, do you think, Jovanka?
I mean, all the pieces are on the board. There's still tension in the center, so it is a good approach. The problem is that Humpy, look at her, she's kind of playing in the most thematic way. Now she comes in with a knight into the middle of the board. You've got to challenge that knight, and Alexandra putting her knight at the edge of the board, getting ready just to maximize the tension by playing c7 to c5. And taking a look at the heart rates, we do see that Humpy, well, her heart rate's up to 135, whereas Alexandra 120. It's quite high, I have to say.
It's high. I mean, there's a lot of pressure. I mean, there was a study made during one of the World Championships, I think, where it was stated that chess players lose an amazing amount of calories per day. So I don't need to run marathons. I just can play chess. It's like going to the gym. But you do. The pressure is there. You're sweating off with the nervous tension. And I like Alexandra's last move. She's got to try to break things open a little bit. Remember, black has to win this game. Any other result and Humpy goes through. So Humpy's playing in a very traditional way, bringing her pieces to the middle of the board. That rook comes to a line which might be opened later on, and it's very tense at this moment in time.
Definitely very tense. The big danger for Alexandra is that she can't let the situation just simply fizzle out. She can't let all the pawns be traded and the position to become simple. That would be a nightmare for her, because chess players are very good when the position is very easy to play. And by easy, I mean there aren't too many pawns on the board, and there's just simply nothing there to bite on. And there we see Humpy actually capture that pawn with her.
Yeah, I mean, Humpy's such a quality player that if she gets a simple position, I can't see her throwing it away. Last move, the bishop attacks white's queen. So the white queen now has to move, otherwise it will be lost. You don't want to lose your queen. So Alexandra trying to get a little bit of activity, but I'm not sure what she will follow this move up with when Humpy simply retreats the queen. And she brings the queen all the way back to keep it out of any danger. And what will Alexandra do now? Okay, she connects the rooks. The rooks on the back rank can now flow into the middle. So I kind of like Alexandra's strategy. A lot of people would panic in her situation and think, I need to win, I need to play aggressive chess. But actually what Alexandra is doing is saying, I don't need to do that. I can play normal, sensible chess. I'm going to get an opportunity later on. Humpy's time is also ticking down very quickly there.
Yeah, it is. It is a fast time control. Let's not forget that. And now Humpy just over the minute. And the players do get an extra 2 seconds per move. And well, this is a very intriguing battle. Humpy does have the long-term trump because black's pawn in the middle is just super weak. But Alexandra has very active pieces and she needs to find a purpose for them. Perhaps it's time just to centralize the rooks.
I like that idea, Jovanka, because when you're playing chess, again, we keep using the analogy of a battle. It is obviously based on a battle chess, and you want all your troops playing a part in the battle, and there you go, bringing those rooks which weren't doing anything into the battlefield. That rook I like particularly because it's lining up against white's queen. You never know, it might get a chance to open up and take it. This is what we call a pin, that bishop pinning the black knight to the queen. If that knight moves on the right hand side, you lose your queen. So Alexandra is just saying, okay, I'm going to force that pin away. And now Alexandra does have the bishop pair.
Yeah, the problem is that this position has simplified itself, and now Humpy is just simply going to switch tack and just play for the attack against the d5 pawn.
Yeah, this is an isolated pawn. When there's one pawn on its own and you can see the black pawn in the middle, it's isolated from its friends. Okay, it's got some pieces around it, but it doesn't have another pawn helping it out. So that is a target that Humpy can play against. She can build up her pieces to attack it.
And there you see her actually attack Alexandra's knight. Now Humpy must not forget the clock situation. She is now under 30 seconds. She has to hold her nerve, and at the same time she has to make sure she is playing good moves, because Alexandra is just a speed demon. She loves playing blitz chess, and there you go. I love Alexandra's last move. It might not be correct, but it's enough to initiate chaos and getting activity.
Yeah, what black's done with that move, Jovanka, as you say, is bring that rook, which she didn't need to move, Alexandra, in the left-hand corner, now has an open line. Rooks like open lines. 22 seconds for Humpy, but we saw this in the first game. This is where Humpy started to play really, really well. And at the moment, she's kept everything in control. I'm sure that knight will now drop into the middle. Is she looking for another idea here? Nope, the knight comes into the middle of the board, and she's got to start moving quicker though.
Yeah, she definitely does. And Alexandra rerouting the knight to the e8 square. I'm not quite sure what it's doing there, but it's now just a question of holding your nerve and fighting against the clock.
Humpy moving the queen up. Not much is changing so much, except for the clock situation. Humpy's only got 9 seconds. She's moving so coolly with 9 seconds on the clock. I would be panicking. And Alexandra centralizing her knight into the middle, but the white knight has found a very nice square there, but the black knight harassing the queen. It seems to me that Alexandra's just got a lot more energy in the position, and she's won a pawn.
She has won a pawn, but she also missed that there was some knight b3s forking the rook and the queen. But okay, that opportunity has been and gone, and Alexandra now just has to get the queen out of dodge and start consolidating the position, because Humpy only has 9 seconds left.
But so does Alexandra now. She only has 9 seconds as well. She attacks the queen simply retreats, and Humpy looking so cool. Alexandra gets her queen out of the way of lots of trouble, and I think black is doing well here, but it's going to be on the clock, surely.
Certainly going to be on the clock. And there's a pressure against the d-pawn, and that's why Alexandra just moves forward. 4 seconds.
Just
move. Oh, she made that with 1 second on the clock.
They just got to move now. They've got to play quickly. Alexandra has a great chance to level the score. She has a check, but the bishop does block. That was a nice little tactic. 3 seconds left, and we go into an ending. This is great news for Humpy, because the ending should be fine. She only needs the draw, let's remember, and the more pieces that come off, the nearer to a draw you get. The black king is trying to come out, but it's so symmetrical, Jovanka. A draw looking very likely unless someone loses on time.
And that could be a possibility as we see the players, and they both seem to have that edge of panic.
I would be panicking here as well. I mean, it's panic scenarios all round. But Humpy is looking the cooler of the two players. I must admit, the way she's moving the pieces, she's playing very, very good moves, just keeping her rook active there. And Alexandra's got to try to find some way to complicate this position. And there she moves her knight in. Can her knight cause any problems? Well, she has to do this. She has to give up the pawn. No, she's not even giving that up. She's created some threats there.
She has created some threats, but at the cost of her g-pawn. And, well, Humpy calmly steps back, and now that the position has simplified even more, it is heading to a draw, and the players do agree a draw, and that means Humpy goes through to the next stage in the winners bracket, and it is Alexandra Kosteniuk who gets pushed down to the lower bracket.
Yeah, I mean, very exciting games. We can see that last encounter was a draw, meaning that Humpy went through. She just kept her cool so well there. I mean, she didn't really give Alexandra too many chances. There was a bit of a feeling right at the end there when Alexandra won the pawn that she could do it, but Humpy, just the way she was moving, it was so calm, like she's having a nice cup of tea, just going there, you know, moving.
Yeah.
You could just see she was so calm with seconds on her clock.
I know, it was unbelievable. I mean, I like the way that she actually made the moves, like you say. It felt like she was playing a classical game of chess.
It was classy, wasn't it?
Not with 1 second remaining on the clock.
I know, you got...
But what a match. And there we see Alexandra making a bid for activity. This is a great chance for her. And we see the very calm Humpy just defend that pawn. And
I mean, how many seconds does Humpy have left there? I mean, just look at the way I just loved the way she was moving. I mean, I'd be like
all over the place, right?
I'd be like, yeah, a drunk clown trying to move the pieces, but Humpy just elegantly moving the pieces in
she
there.
She never once lost her nerve, even here. And here she makes a big mistake. Actually, it was possible for Alexandra to put the knight on b3 and fork the rook and the queen, but that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, even when she made that mistake, she kept her cool, and that's probably one of the most important things in this kind of time limit. It's Armageddon. After all, you've got to keep your cool, even when the house is on fire. And this was the position where black just managed to equalize it. And you can see here, well, it's a very equal position with not really any big advantage to either player, and a draw looked very likely without any blunders in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see it wasn't enough.
So we're going to very shortly have an interview with the two players. We're going to start with Alexandra, and we'll get her opinion on that game. So maybe we can go over to our friend David now and have a look at that interview.
Hey guys, I'm here with Alexandra. Alexandra, welcome to Berlin. It's very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Very crazy match. Give me your initial thoughts about how this went today.
Well, I mean, I was pressing quite hard in the first game, but then I just couldn't find the right continuation. I was pressing by time and by position, and unfortunately in blitz, I mean, when you kind of spoil this moment, when you lose concentration, and yeah, things can go badly, and that's exactly what happened. I'm sure I was like maybe not winning, but having a very big advantage, but I misplayed. I spent too much time calculating, went for a very strange forced line, and then just started, giving pawns one after another. So that's basically decided the outcome of the match.
I see. Well, one of our colleagues actually looked at the chess-based database. Apparently, you and Humpy have like a record that's completely even according to chess-based: 20 wins, 20 losses, and 19 draws. I think, Paul, don't kill me, but what makes Humpy such a difficult opponent to face?
Well, actually, I would say that my score should be even worse than that, because you kind of count all blitz games, and in that case, yeah, I'm probably dominating a little bit. But for the classical part, yeah, Humpy has always been a very unpleasant opponent for me, just because she's very strong.
And the last thing I want to ask you, you have a second life in this tournament in the lower bracket. How do you deal with tough losses? How do you bounce back? What do you do?
Well, I mean, if you have a chance to go on and to fight on, that's great. That was a tough match, and it's like the first, I think, even by rating, if you look first and second seeded happened to be in one bracket and in the first match, so it was already a quite tough start, but okay, as long as I can go on and play on, that's already a great story.
I see. Final thing I'll ask you, do you have special preparation for this tournament in terms of openings, or are you just doing more of the same of what you're used to? Obviously, you have a very long career.
Well, I tried to play some blitz games because matches are so short, just 2 games, and you don't have time to warm up, and that's exactly what happened today. Somehow, I think I was playing very well in the first game, but did not succeed, and yeah, unfortunately, this format is very, very, costly in terms of if you lose concentration, even for 1 second, that can mean the end of the match. But okay, luckily there is a second one, but it's also not going to be an easy walk tomorrow.
Well, best of luck with the rest of the tournament and the lower bracket. And guys, back to you in the studio. Simon, Jovanka.
Welcome back, and thank you very much, David. And it's a great pleasure to be here in the studio alongside Humpy Koneru, who just defeated Alexandra Kosteniuk, and that looked like it was quite an eventful match. How are you feeling?
I think the match was not with much of a blunders, I would say. First game was pretty decent, and White was also doing fine up to a certain point. I was just repeating the moves with knight e6, knight f8, and waiting for her plan. And she decided to give a try with f4. I think that was a bit dubious try. So once I got this f6 threat, her position all of a sudden became shaky, and she started blundering over there. Yeah. I think later on it was just a matter of technique, and it's important not to, miss anything, not to make any blunder. That was the only precise thing I have to follow.
Yeah.
What really impressed us was how calm you seemed to be moving the pieces. You had seconds left.
Yeah, actually I was in short of time comparatively, so it was very important to be, to maintain that time towards the end.
And how did you manage? Because, like Simon commented, we saw you with 10 seconds left, and you just very...
Okay, the position was quite simple at that point. And I think in the second game, yes, I tried to play more solid, not to give much of a complications. But after I reached knight c6, knight c5, I should have played rook into c5, which is quite simple, bc5 and take on d8 and take on d5. So I was doing even slightly better, but I gave a chance to my opponent, and after d4, queen b2, she could just simply take d3, because queen into f6, rook d1 check is coming. Take and then gf6, she'll be having a b passer, but still it's a game, it's not at over.
And obviously we had the heart rate monitor there. I don't know if you ever used the heart rate monitor, but can you guess what your heart rate got up to at all?
Usually it's pretty high for me, because even in one of the tournaments in India we had this similar watch, and there I just saw that it was always on the upper side.
Yeah.
Well, we just saw it now. 155 was your highest, and resting heart rate is a good one. Is between 60 to 100. So
okay, it's fine that at the end of the day I won the game.
Yeah. And in the next match, you'll be facing the winner in the match between Bibisara Assaubayeva and Nana Dzagnidze. Do you have any preference?
No, not really. I have played with all of the participants. So for me, it doesn't matter whoever comes. And I think for blitz, it also doesn't make much of a difference. It only depends on how good form you are in, and that particular day, everything needs to work for you.
Well, well done. And I think we're just going to have a look at some highlights and go to commercial very soon. But good luck with the other games. It was very exciting, and we were just so impressed how calm you were.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yeah, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's okay. And we do have to mention one of our partners, the FIDE Online Arena, which hosts rated tournaments and games 24 hours per day. Join the arena and you'll get a FIDE ID, a profile on FIDE.com, and access to pro chess community, official online ratings and titles recognized by the International Chess Federation, prize money tournaments, and so much more. So play official games at chessarena.com.
It's been very exciting here in the studio. We've had lots of drama going on, but we're coming up to the next match, and this is another mouth-watering encounter. We have Bibisara versus Nana, and they're just two legends of the game, aren't they, Jovanka?
Absolutely. In fact, it's a battle between a Blitz World Champion and a former Blitz World Champion, and they've actually played 6 games in the last 4 years, and Bibisara has the slimmest of edges, leading 2-1 against the legend of Georgian chess. And of course, Bibisara, she actually has been Women's World Blitz Champion since she turned 17. She's been 21 and 22, and winning this title at such a young age means that she is actually a Guinness World Record holder. She's became an IM at 16 years old. She's just 19 years old, and get this fun fact, she's also a rhythmic gymnastics champion.
What is that, rhythmic? I don't know what that is. I know what gymnast is.
It's a dancing type of gymnast.
Okay.
So it's
very impressive.
Very, very impressive.
Wow.
But let's hear more about Bibisara in her own words.
I played chess last 15 years. I start when I was 4 years old. My grandpa teach me. Then I go to the chess club, try to improve myself, and now I'm here. When I was 4 years old, I go to my parents to say goodnight. They watched some news, and I saw Alexandra Kosteniuk won her title, world champion, and I want to be like her, to be the world champion. And my parents said me, okay, but you need to learn how to play chess and you need to work hard every day. I won the world champion, but in blitz, and now my goal is in classical chess. Now chess is popular, and we have a lot of great programs, websites, and you need just to find what you like it and do it every day.
Well, let's have a great player. I mean, just the fact that she's won the Blitz World Championships the last 2 years, she's going to be a real force to be reckoned with. Just keeping your cool and winning those titles is so hard. But her opponent is no slouch. We have Nana, and she is just a legend of the game, Nana. She was a Grandmaster at the age of 18, Women's European Champion in 2017, Blitz Champion in 2017, and Women's Olympiad winner in 2008. And this is going to be so close, I feel, this match. I mean, I really don't know who to put my money on, but let's now have a deeper look at this great player.
I've been playing chess for 30 years. I've started playing chess when I was 6, and my father taught me how to play chess because chess was very popular in Georgia. He wanted me to become a world champion one day. When I'm not playing chess, I spend my time usually with my family, with my kids. I love reading. I love doing some sports activity, and I love walking. in the parks. It's not easy, I would say, but I try to balance my professional life and personal life, and I try to divide time evenly. For women, for professional chess players, it's more challenging, to be successful in chess career and also at home with your family, with your kids.
Yeah, this is also going to be such a mouth-watering match. I mean, it's very difficult to say who is the favorite here. And we are less than a minute away from the start of play. Who will be victorious? Will it be the current women's blitz world champion, Bibisara, just 19 years old, 2 Grandmaster norms, or the very experienced Nana Dzagnidze, who's been European Women's Champion, former Blitz World Champion, and also just a very, very good competitor.
Yeah, and they're now only 21 seconds away from the start. We can see the advantage of the white pieces is to Bibisara. She's a great tactical player. She could just go straight in with the tactics from move 1. Very aggressive player. Generally, younger players tend to be more aggressive in chess. As you get older, you have a bit more fear and you go a bit more solid. And they are off now. So what move will we see? The clock has started and we see the Queen's pawn, and they're now playing the Queen's Gambit, it seems, which has obviously now been made famous by the great TV show, and the Queen's Gambit exchanged variation.
And one thing I have to say about Nana is that she's not the most theoretical of players. She relies on a natural instinct for putting the pieces on good squares. But so far, this has all been played before, and Bibisara, she is such a talent. She has 2 Grandmaster norms. She trains with the youngsters. I mean, just now she locked heads with some of the brightest minds on the planet, and she actually got a very respectable score there. Bishop comes to the d3 square, and she actually also has a foundation to her name, where she is inspiring young minds in Kazakhstan to play chess.
Yeah, this is quite a modern way to play an old variation. I actually had this exact position against another legend of the game, Pierre Kramling, and it's the exchange variation of the Queen's Gambit. It's quite often to do with the pawn structure, this opening in the middle game, which they're coming up to now. First of all, black kicks away the white bishop. That white bishop probably won't exchange itself off. Bishops are considered to be slightly better than knights, so the bishop just retreats to a decent square. And I think black should concentrate on castling here. So, oh no, she plays a really aggressive move there, Jovanka, pushing the g-pawn up the board.
Yeah, Nana means business, and Bibisara calmly sounds the retreat. And, well, it is a committal move by Nana because she does leave weak squares behind. And I'm expecting Bibisara to actually react very coolly and just perhaps just move her queen either to c2, to e2, and even at the right time threaten to go to the left with the king.
Yeah, I mean, the knight is trying to swap itself off for the bishops. We mentioned how good it is to have the 2 bishops, and black is just trying to eliminate one of those ones, but it's risky pushing pawns because if black ever castles the king, the black king has lost one of its bodyguards. The bodyguards kind of run away, and well, it could have stayed with the black king. But this is what black's trying to do, get the bishop pair, taking that bishop, and now maybe move the other bishop, and she does. This is called fianchettoing the bishop, keeping everything quite solid, and maybe you can still castle. I'm just wondering where that black king will go. Would it go to the right? Would it go to the left? Or would it stay in the middle?
I think it will stay in the middle for the time being, but Bibisara, you know, she's such a cool customer. She, in fact, is following the rules, which says when you're fighting against the bishop pair, try and trade off a set and try to minimize that potential advantage. And Nana just reinforcing the protection of her own bishop. And still, it is a game of cat and mouse. Where are the kings going to go? Are they going to go left? Are they going to go right? And I love this last move by Bibisara. She says, you know what? That pawn coming to g5 has given me the f5 square. I'm just going to reinforce my control over it.
I can't believe how low the heart rates are here. And
yeah.
Nana, especially 85. She seems to be the coolest customer we've had in this series, keeping that heart rate at such a low rate, it shows you're not stressed out. Maybe she should be a bit more stressed. You know, you need to get the adrenaline flowing in these quick matches. Okay, but we now see their kings have committed to one side of the board. I would say that white is... I would actually prefer white's position, even though the evaluation bar disagrees with me here, because white has this bishop holding a square on the king's side. White has an extra open file right on the right-hand side. So sometimes, are we allowed to disagree with computers nowadays, Jovanka?
Yeah, we are. Absolutely. It's our human right to do that. But
what about the computer's right, though?
Computer can do other things.
Yeah.
It can be ultimately right. But okay, well, the Nana actually just rerouting her knight has some aggressive intentions of actually planting itself on the c4 square and even parking itself on the d6 square. This looks a bit odd, this whole maneuver, but when you have a black pawn on d5, you want the knight to sit behind it, so it controls squares. And Bibisara also just saying, you know what, two can play that game. I will also reroute the knight. But where is that knight headed to? I don't see where it's going.
I like this move. I think it's going to head to the right-hand side, and it's going to try to swap itself for where the white bishop is. I don't know how you achieve that, but what you've got to do with your knights particularly is look for holes in your opponent's positions, because knights can sit in a hole for the rest of the game and dominate these holes. They jump around. So holes, another word for them is outposts. So I think that white knight is heading for an outpost, and that outpost is where the white bishop is. We say this is an outpost because a pawn cannot attack the white bishop. On the other hand, the black knight comes in with some aggressive ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. And interesting fact there. Did you see as Nana's time ticked down, her heart rate also decreased? So it seems that the less time she has, the more in her element she is.
You say that. It's jumped up a little bit now. I don't know if Nana's going to get over 100 though ever. Have we ever had a player who's kept their heart rate under 100 for the whole time? I don't think we have.
We've never seen that. That would be actually making the Armageddon records.
It would be for the calmest player we've had. And more maneuvering going on. I think time's going to play a very important factor, and Nana is now under 30 seconds, so she has to pick up the pace now. She can't play at the same level, the speed she's doing at the moment. She makes an exchange there. Often exchanges will help your position. That white knight does come into the outpost, but black is able to swap that piece off, and we're going to be left in a position where they both have a queen and two rooks, but white has the knight and black has the bishop. Would you prefer to have the knight or the bishop in such a position? Not an easy question.
It's not an easy question at all. And here, I mean, I'm looking at the long-term potential of this bishop on g7, and at the minute it's staring at a brick wall. So if white can break out and control this, then I think white is actually better.
Yeah, I actually prefer the knight, and I think this is a great move that Bibisara has done. She's moving the knight towards black's king. I think it's time to try and start an attack against black's king. The knight and queen coordinate so well together. There comes the knight. It's edging its way towards black's king. If you can get the queen behind that knight, you can start creating some nasty threats. So the black king has to retreat, and maybe another unit comes up to attack the pawn. This last move from Nana makes a lot of sense. The bishop maybe trying to swap off that knight at the right moment.
Yeah, some bold play by Bibisara, advancing the a pawn up the board, and look, it goes all the way to a6. Very interesting play, but the problem is this is very committal, and this could backfire on her if she does not follow through in the correct way. Knight is sitting there in the middle. Oh, she's lost on time.
Oh wow, she lost. I can't believe she was too calm.
She was too calm.
We did say it is Armageddon. You have to play with a bit of oomph. You can't just sit there and, you know, play like a leisurely old Sunday game of chess. You have to play with speed, and she was too calm.
She was just simply too cool for school here, and wow, she just noticed that she had so little time and she just did not make it.
Yeah, that's
going to be painful for Nana, because that position was still anyone's game. Anything could have happened, Very, very unfortunate. But the players will have some minutes to perhaps reset and get themselves into the right mindset, because what happens now is that both players have to just forget about the past and move forward. And here we see Bibisara. She just plays in a very aggressive way. She gets her knight to a great square and she backs that up with some pawns.
Yes, I mean, it was basically quite an equal position when one player just lost on time. And, you know, this is a very important factor of this Armageddon. You don't get this in classical chess as much, but when you're playing with a shorter time limit, you got to move. You got to play quickly. You got to use the clock. The clock needs to be your friend and not your enemy. And in that one, Nana, she just forgot. She forgot about the time. Something we have to all appreciate in life. Time is important, you know. The years just frittle away, but still a nice win there. And we now are going to get ready for the second match. Only 55 seconds to go, and we know what has to happen here in order to get an Armageddon game. Nana has to win this one.
She definitely does, and she will have the advantage of the white pieces, so she is able to set the pace of the game. And Nana has a very tricky opening style. She tends to take the battle into the middle game, so she won't be playing something so theoretical, but she is such a dangerous customer. And Bibisara actually has almost like a polar opposite repertoire when it comes to the black pieces. With white, she's relatively solid. With black, she plays the King's Indians, and she really likes to play aggressive chess. And now we are less than 10 seconds away from start of play. What will happen? Will we see our first Armageddon of the day? Well, we'll find out. Handshake, and they are off. Nana opening with her trademark knight, and this is Nana Dzagnidze's specialty.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very slow way to start the game. You're basically saying, I don't want to get involved with the action quite yet. I'm just going to fianchetto my bishops. I'm going to wait until later on, until we get the real entertainment in the middle game. And let's just remember what needs to happen here for it to go to Armageddon. If Nana has any chance of winning this match, she needs to win with white. Bibisara only needs to get a draw with the black pieces, so the pressure is on. But what I really want to see, I want to see Nana's heart rate go up more. She's got to appreciate that clock. She can't play as calmly as she was. I think she's got to get the adrenaline flowing. You know, you've got to use that as a skill. Get into the zone, that athlete phrase. Pretty solid start though so far.
Definitely, and Bibisara doing all the right things, just taking the space. She's advanced her A pawn, and now both sides are just getting ready for white to actually break out in the center. I mean, the problem with this type of position is that at one point white will step into the ring and take a battle, but for the time being they're just marking the territory.
Yeah, I mean, black setup is called the King's Indian defense here, and white is just lining that rook up against black's queen. We saw this strategy before, hoping at some point for lines to open up when the rook will become a good piece. But there's not too much going on here. Okay, black expands in the center. I quite like black's position. The evaluation bar thinks the position is pretty even at the moment. The reason I like black's position, I like having the center. There's kind of 3 rules you should follow at the start of the game. Develop your knights and bishops, control the center, and get your king castled.
And big decision here. She actually captures with the pawn. I didn't think that was possible, because the white knight can move over to the b5 square.
Yes, if white moves the knight now, which she has done, that knight is threatening to come right in with a fork against black's 2 rooks, which could be terminal. So, okay, this is a clever way to get out of it, though. A really nice move. That black rook now aiming to come across 2 more squares and attack white's queen. I didn't see that move. That's a classy move, isn't it?
That is a very classy move. I mean, the whole idea is that if the knight does come to attack the rooks, the rook will actually counterattack the queen. But still, White does have an outpost for the knight on b5, and this is something that Nana will be able to use. Perhaps it's just to switch tack and go, you know what, there's an open c line, let me put some rooks on it. Maybe she's going to try to trade off some queens. We'll see. But Nana, again, then she does try to trade off the queens, and big decision for Bibisara. What is she going to do? She cannot trade queens. Instead, she has to either sidestep by moving her queen to the e7 square, or perhaps moving the knight, or attacking the, actually maybe attacking the queen.
Yeah, I like what White's doing here. White is infiltrating into Black's position, so I think so far things are going pretty well for Nana, and she's getting the queen into the position. But Black has some questions to answer here. As you mentioned, it's not easy, and that's why she's spending a bit of time on this move. This is one of the only instances so far where Black actually has less time, quite considerably less time. And what she can do, she's having a good think here. Nearly, I don't know how long she spent this move, at least 40 seconds, I feel.
And well, Nana is building up a serious time advantage, because Bibisara actually moves down to the 1 minute mark. And big decision on her hands. She can't think about it too long, because there's still lots of more decisions to be made. And take a decision. 50 seconds, you gotta be practical.
It's so hard though, because I don't think you can move the queen, because the bishop would attack the queen. You can't, I mean, what's she do? She's pushing in the center, but I really now are starting to like White's position quite considerably. That opens up the other bishop, but something had to be done. White can now bring a rook across to the open file. Rooks work very well, or just reroute the pieces. I like this move. The knight is heading into the center, but you're opening up the light square bishop, which is pointing towards Black's pawn as well. It's looking like a great position for White at the moment.
It certainly is, and that is why Bibisara actually just nudges the rook to attack the white knight. But the knight can be easily supported, and Bibisara now just over 30 seconds, and with a heart rate going up to 132. Wow, she will be feeling the pressure, and there you see Nana just simply support that knight.
And Bibisara's time is going down quite considerably. She tries to get the queens off the board to make things a little bit easier. The knight was attacking the rook had to move, but the problem that Black has here is that White's pieces are starting to come in. White's pieces are better. That knight is more active. The bishop in front of White's king has a really nice diagonal shooting across the board, and Black's pieces, they kind of are discombobulated. They're getting in the way of each other, and they don't have any good squares. But Nana, she's got to move. This is the only thing. We saw it last time. She lost on time. You can't think too much. Just move. Play natural moves. And she does. She puts a rook on the open file. That's where rooks belong. Black tries to bring the bishop around, try to get the bishop to a better square here. And again, I think if Nana just keeps up the pace, she's got great chances in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see Nana just move her knight back. And again, she has such beautiful pressure along the C line. And there we see Bibisara just move her bishop to attack the knight. Again, Nana has to move. She is now 28 seconds. Oh, this move was unexpected.
I don't like that move, because you're making complications. It might be a good move, but it seemed to me that White had a good position. Why complicate things? And they're both now getting to this critical stage. The black rook is now coming across. They took one pawn each, but I think Black is getting good counterplay here. And I really don't like that decision to give your opponent counterplay. The black rook attacking a pawn. The black rook looking good now.
And now Nana under 10 seconds. Remember, she lost on time in the first game. And it's just about holding the nerves. And 10 seconds for Nana, 17 seconds and ticking down for Bibisara. And the position has just become very chaotic.
Yeah, but Black is a pawn up, and pawns do count. The black knight now coming to the center. They're both sides developing their pieces. White has the two bishops. I agree with you, very chaotic position. The white knight attacking Black's rook. Black has to be tactically alert here. And the time, 7 seconds against Nana's 6 seconds.
And with the 2-second increment, players have to keep calm. And there you see Bibisara's rook under attack, and she's dropped an exchange. So Nana, this is looking great for Nana. She just has to hold her nerve.
Yeah, Nana has won the exchange. Nana's got effectively the extra rook, but Black's king side is looking very dangerous.
And
the h-pawn is coming.
3, 2, Nana making that move with 2 seconds on the clock, and still her heart rate is under 100.
I can't believe it. You've got to play quicker as White here. White is winning this one, but it's so short on time, and that h-pawn is looking dangerous. The black pawn is getting nearer
2
and nearer.
seconds for Bibisara. Whoa, the players are living on the edge. Okay.
Oh, a
And
nice tactic there. Using the pin on the rook, and just keep an eye on the clock. The clock is so important here.
And I mean, I have to say, just take a look at Bibisara's pawns there on the right side. I mean, that's an overwhelming amount of pawns. And it's just about being able to keep calm. Okay, it's a race. We are ready.
Yeah, it's a
Actually,
race.
1 second.
She
She's lost some time again.
Oh, my words. Just too calm. I mean, we're talking about Humpy, playing calmly, but you've got to move.
Yeah.
You can play calmly, but you have to move. And losing twice on time, it's, I don't know. It was a great chance there to equal the score.
Yeah, it certainly was a very fiery game, and Nana will be leaving that match very disappointed. But it's certainly a lesson that she does have to just boost up her heart rate and get that adrenaline pumping.
Yeah, and we see that Bibisara, well, she did win both those games on time, so she's through. Very impressive still play, because she was looking in a lot of trouble there, but she picked up her pace. That's the thing. You've got to have different gears in chess. It's like if you're driving a car and a lorry is coming 100 miles an hour behind you, and you're going 10 miles per hour, you probably should accelerate. And that's what Nana failed to do. She failed to accelerate there. She got the lorry basically crashing right over her.
Yeah, and there we see the final score. It was 2-0 to Bibisara after winning both those games on time. But what a match. Regardless, I mean, we have to praise Nana for her play. I mean, it was exceptional at times. It was just the handling of the clock and those final seconds.
That's right. Maybe a bit of rustiness shown there. Not maybe practicing quite as much as possibly she could have done, because losing on time twice, it's a lot. Let's have a look at some critical moments. And this first one, we saw Nana, as Jovanka saying, playing great chess. Her knight came into the position. That knight was dominating the queen side, that area of the board for a while. And the next moment here, I didn't like this move, Jovanka. It seemed a bit messy.
Yeah, it did feel unnecessary to do this, especially when you only have 25 seconds left. Better to kind of keep control and keep asking your opponent those positional questions.
That's right, and it was really in the lap of the gods there, with pieces flying everywhere, the clock's ticking down, and you could see here, and more exchanges were coming in. The black knight came in, and this is where Nana's position was looking pretty good, because she managed to swap off very shortly her knight for one of black's rooks. And if you're doing it on points, the knight is 3 points and the rook is 5. So that was, looking good. But okay, I think we can go for an interview, and we're first going to go interview with our friend David and the loser.
Hi, I'm here with Nana. Nana, is a very difficult match, I'm sure. Guide me through what you're feeling right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really got, I think, really nice positions with both colors, but somehow, I couldn't manage with my time. So that was the reason why I lost the games. Yeah.
One thing that I saw, and the commentators saw as well, is your heart rate was consistently low. In fact, I think your heart rate is probably lower than mine. So how do you keep your nerves intact during a high-stakes chess match?
Really, I don't know. I didn't know that. Actually, I was thinking before the game that how it's gonna be. I mean, my heart rate, will it raise? I mean, I don't know. Was it that low?
It didn't crack 100 that I saw. Maybe I looked away. It was around 80 the whole time. And it was fluctuating too, so I think it was working.
Yeah. Okay. Then I don't know. I was just trying to be concentrated on the game, and yeah, that's it.
How do you bounce back from losses in a tournament, especially you have a second life?
Today's games, I think I played quite decent chess. It was only time's problem. So for the next match, I will try I will try to manage better with my time.
Last thing I'll ask you, are you doing anything special in terms of preparation for this tournament compared to a regular classical tournament?
Yeah, compared to classical tournament, no, nothing special. I'm just checking some opening lines and trying to solve some puzzles. So that's it.
Well, Nana, you have a second shot at redemption, and we're really glad to have you here. So enjoy the rest of the tournament. Best of luck. And Simon, Jovanka, back to you in the studio.
Well, we're here with the winner of that match, Bibisara, and did you expect to win 2 games on time?
No, of course not. I just come here to play and see what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very quick time control, and you're, of course, the reigning world champion, so you're kind of used to this time control, right?
I tried.
Yeah. And the first game, I mean, it seemed reasonably smooth. The second game, it seemed like you're in a bit of trouble there, maybe. A bit worse, possibly?
Yes, after the opening, maybe d5 move is not very good. And I blundered that after queen c7, I can't play rook c6 because she takes on d8 and takes my pawn on e5. And I have unpleasant for blitz position. But after she played not very well, instead of bishop f8, I have bishop h6 and then take on it d2, rook b3. After I have normal position, but very tricky, and in the late note, I think we made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, because we saw that both of you were making moves with seconds left. I mean, what were you feeling at the time?
Usually I try to have 10 seconds or maybe 5, but not to 1, because you see on the clock, you see on the position, and you don't know what need to do, and you do the first move you see.
Yeah. I think that was the mistake that your opponent made. She was trying to think too much there and not maybe play the first move.
Maybe, but I have 2 knights, and in the blitz it's very dangerous because they jumped a lot and have some forks. So
yes, yeah, that's impressive.
And how did you prepare for this tournament?
Not too much. I just solve the puzzles, play online games, and try to have a rest because I played a lot of tournaments last month.
Yeah, and looking ahead, you can see that you are actually going to be playing against Humpy Koneru in the next round. What are your thoughts on that?
It will be interesting. In Almaty World Blitz Championship, I take first place and she is second, but we don't play each other, so it will be interesting, I think.
Yeah, it's great. So first versus second, and we're also very interested in the heart rate monitor. So we can see the heart rate here that you got up to 155 at some point, but your opponent was only 105.
I don't know why, but before the game, I was too nervous because I never played Armageddon, and I don't know what I need to do, and I think if we have score 1-1, which color I should choose, and that's why maybe I have a very high.
Yeah, and did you decide on a strategy in the end, that if it were to go to Armageddon, you would choose?
I don't choose.
You don't choose?
No, maybe I will choose white or black. Okay, in black I have very bad position, maybe I will choose white.
Okay,
Yeah.
white.
Yeah, and having to win. And yeah, I mean, it was amazing how low your opponent's heart rate was. Maybe she should have got her heart rate up
Yes.
more, because 105
Because
is incredible.
before the game she had 83 or
Yes,
something.
yeah, that's right. And I think she kept it around 83.
She kept it
for a long
around
time, so
83.
It's fantastic,
90.
I think.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it was
a bit too calm.
too calm, yeah. And did you feel that you were nervous? Especially when
I
your heart rate
feel
got up to...
before game. During the game, I don't feel nervous. I think I'm calm. But okay, last game, last few seconds, I was too nervous because we have time trouble. My position is bad.
Mhm. And is this the first time you've played with heart rate monitors?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or-
So, well, the next match, as you say, is going to be very interesting. Have you played Humpy before?
Yes, we played the Women's Speed Championship online. There we played a lot of games, more 20, and we played World Rapid Championship, World Blitz. Yes.
Okay. And your score? How is your score?
I don't remember. We played a lot of games. I think I have little plus.
Okay.
Mhm.
all
And
right.
you have a free day in Berlin. What will you do?
Tomorrow,
Oh, yeah.
I wanna rent a bicycle
Aha.
and see the city.
That
good
sounds
plan.
like a lovely
Yeah.
thing to do. Yeah. Yes. And yeah, I mean, anything particular you'd like to see in Berlin?
I just walking in the center, and I really like the city. In Europe, I like Vienna, Paris, and Berlin.
Not London?
I never been there.
Okay.
That
right.
will have to change that, right,
Yes.
Simon?
Yes, definitely. So, well, thank you very much, and
Thank you.
congratulations, and
Thank
good
you
luck with
very
the
much.
rest. And yeah, some very exciting matches today, but we've got more to come. So yeah, been a good day, chess.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And time to mention one of our partners, Kaspersky. As a technology and digital privacy company, Kaspersky supports the secure advancement of chess in the digital space and its expansion into online tournaments. It's a perfect combination of human excellence and strong technology.
Yeah, so what a day of chess. We pretty much had everything, except for sort of an Armageddon. We had a player losing on time twice. That's the kind of thing I would do, Jovanka, I think. So, but yeah, I mean, what a day. And tomorrow, what have we got in store for us?
Tomorrow we need to look ahead because we have players that are fighting for survival. We have Grandmaster Elisabeth Paehtz playing off against Sara Khadem. Now that one is going to be incredibly exciting. Both players have very dynamic styles, and I'm very eager to see how that one will work out. But again, Alexandra Kosteniuk, she did face Humpy Koneru in the first game, and now she is also going to be playing another blitz heavyweight, Nana Dzagnidze.
Yeah, I mean, this day tomorrow, I love these days because there's no more chances.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a double chance so far, but whoever loses tomorrow goes home. They're out of the competition, so the pressure is to the next level. It's brought up to a major level, and well, we know what Nana has to do. She has to move quicker. That's obvious, but they're great pairings and some great players. So I don't know who's going to go through in those ones.
Yeah, I mean, it is very, very tricky. It's also, you know, you have that edge as well because I know Elisabeth and Sara, they're very good friends, but chess is chess, life is life. And as you say, if you lose, you're booted out.
You're out.
Your hotel rooms, the
what's it like
flight
playing-
is booked.
What's it like playing your good friends? Because at the end of the day, chess is like a gladiatorial battle of the mind. You know, it's like boxing on the board, and you gotta really try to rip them apart on the board. But actually, you like them. So I found that quite hard in the past to play my friends. But you've got to be a tough character, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely you have to be tough. I do know for a fact that they're having dinner tonight together. And then tomorrow it will be all action ahoy.
Maybe you just buy them lots of wine. Do you want another glass of wine? Maybe a vodka or two? Trying to get them in. Is that not good gameplay, you feel? No. Okay.
And when it comes to the other pairing between Alexandra Kosteniuk and Nana Dzagnidze, I really do feel it's just who wants it more, who is going to gather all their strength and just take those risks.
Yeah. Well, look, everyone, I mean, make sure you do tune back tomorrow. It's going to be really exciting. Remember, they don't have any more chances tomorrow. So we're going to see our first people leave the competition. It's been another exciting day of chess here, Jovanka, and it's always a pleasure sitting opposite you.
Absolutely is. See you. Same time, same place.